Hi, I'm Simon Woodward, Chief Executive of Utilicom. I'm here to tell you a bit about our scheme in Southampton, the Southampton District Energy Scheme. The scheme started back in 1986. It was originally started from a geothermal well. The well was drilled by the Department of Energy and unfortunately was abandoned. The City Council, however, took the well on and decided to develop a scheme serving the city, not really using very much from the geothermal well, primarily a CHP scheme. And 21 years later, we have one of the largest commercially developed schemes in the UK. The City Council found Utilicom in 1987 and selected them as the joint corporation partners. In 1987, Utilicom formed Southampton Geothermal Heating Company. Southampton Geothermal Heating Company is an ESCO, an energy services company, that supplies heat, cooling and electricity to consumers within the city. The scheme started from quite humble beginnings. We connected the geothermal well to the main heat station and then started delivering heat to the civic centre. The City Council selected the partnership approach because they felt that this worked the best. There's been no investment by the council within the scheme. The scheme is 100% owned by Utilicom. However, Utilicom brings benefits to the City Council in terms of a profit share as the scheme develops, and also in terms of the carbon reduction savings with it. In terms of the energy generation plant, we started from the geothermal well, and in the mid-1990s we added in combined heat and power. We now have one of the largest combined heat and power units in the UK, a 5.7 megawatt auxiliary engine. This is supplemented with another 1 megawatt CHP at the heat station that's currently being installed, and a 725 kilowatt CHP at the Royal Southampton Hospital. The geothermal well is still operating, although we're planning to repump it over the next year. In terms of the funding for the scheme is 100% funded by Utilicom, but what we do is to deliver savings to the City Council. Typically we're delivering a 10% saving on the cost of fuel, be that a heat supply or a chilled water supply, typically to the civic centre or Marlon's House or the leisure complex. We also have many other consumers connected onto the scheme, such as the De Vere Hotel, the Westquay Shopping Centre, the Royal Southampton Hospital, Marks and Spencer's, etc. All of those consumers have taken a decision to connect because they've seen savings both in terms of operational costs from heating and cooling supplies, but also capital costs by not having to put in their own energy generation plant and charging a connection charge, which offers them a saving. We've been able to grow the network. Developing the scheme, there are really no risks to the council because the scheme's been outsourced. The risks stayed with the private sector. In the early years, it was a bit of a struggle to develop the scheme because developments were delayed with the recession in the early 1990s. However, we pushed through that particular period and we now have a very successful scheme which is growing rapidly. The network started, as I mentioned a moment ago, in 1986 with just a connection to the civic centre. We now have 14 kilometres of pipe across the city, serving over 40 major consumers and literally hundreds of domestic consumers. In 1999 we added on private consumers in a barracks development in Parkview, which is... In terms of the customer benefits, there really are many, and they're not ones which would dissuade any customer from joining the scheme. Top of the list are operational cost savings. We're offering a heat cost saving or a chilled water cost saving of 10%. Then there's also the saving in a connection charge, which is the charge that we make to connect a consumer onto the network. And we typically offer a 20% cost saving compared to the alternative cost of the plant. They also then make a space saving, but they don't have to put their own plant in. There's no boiler plant in the building, there's no chilling plant in the building. And there's also the associated carbon benefits which help towards achieving Part L, the building regulations. So there really are a number of significant benefits to connect onto the scheme, and we find that the scheme almost sells itself to end consumers rather than frightening people away by choosing something that's different.